Well, howdy y'all, Andy Redneck here. It's the 14th of June, 2021. It's about 5 or 10 minutes before 4 in the afternoon. 90 degrees with high humidity. But as you can see out here, I got taters that are dying back and needing to be harvested. Now, I harvested a couple the other day just to have a look, and they ain't the biggest things, but they are pretty nice taters. Like I say, I harvested these the other day, and they'll probably be used for planting another crop for a late fall harvest. But we're going to get in here and we're going to get that half of the bed done, because this half of the bed just ain't producing. There is a difference between that half and this half over here, and that actually has some soil in with it, and this half over here only has horse manure. So that horse manure may have still been a little too quote unquote hot for a growing medium, but that bed will be great next year. This whole thing will get redone again next year the same way, and we'll do some more planting in it. Anyway, let's get some taters pulled up. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention before we get into this is a no-dig garden. So we're not actually going to dig these taters up. We're just going to move the straw and pull the potatoes out and see what we get. So I'm going to move you closer so you can actually observe, in theory, what I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to try to be careful and work around the corn and not disturb the corn. I don't know if we're going to succeed, but we're going to try. This corn was an experiment anyway, so. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. That one's actually gone a little bad and starting to rot. But look at the size of that. There's another good sized one. Now, these potatoes in here are a mix of different colors, and see, there's the seed potato. But out of this, we've got at least two nice sized eaten potatoes. We would have had three, and you know, you could probably cut the rot off this one and still eat it, but we're not going to. We're just going to compost it. But again, this was an experimental thing to see if we could do it and see how well it produced. So far, we're a 2 for 1, give or take. Everywhere these plants are sticking up was actually just one potato put in. So this one here is absolutely loaded. I mean, look at that. That is a good potato. You know. Now some of these littler ones, they could be used as new potatoes right off as they are. But, you know, so, you know, we're looking at, I mean, look at these. They're still coming out of that hole where that plant was growing. And, you know, if you look in our bucket, we ain't doing too bad so far. We've only pulled 3 plants. And I ain't going to keep you guys through this whole section, so I'm going to stop here and we'll do a jump cut to what we got at the end. All right. All right, y'all, we're back. I moved over into the shade. As you can see, we got a good half of a bucket of a 5-gallon bucket full of taters. I'd say it's somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds, which means I'd do a conservative estimate of 1.5 pounds per plant, and I pulled about 10 plants. As you can see, we got some red, some purple, and a whole lot of white potatoes. This is no record-setting harvest by any means, but what this actually does mean, because you know we're only in the middle of June, we can actually take and replant and get a second crop. And if we do get a second crop, we're looking at and it produces as well as this one did, we're looking at 30 to 40 pounds of potatoes, maybe more. Because if I were to replant today, in 90 to 100 days, we'll just say plant today, July, August, September, the end of September, the beginning of October is when we'd be harvesting. So there's plenty of time to do another crop. I might wait a couple of weeks and actually do it around the 4th of July. That way it can get harvested a little later in October, and it'll have a lot of time to grow. But you know, it only takes about 3 months for potatoes. So in 3 months I took 10 potatoes and turned them into, well, we'll say at least 50. So in that bucket, you know, 5 to 1. And most of the potatoes I planted were usually about that size. So out of the 10 I planted, I got about 5 for each one, 5 to 1 ratio. So I planted maybe 3 pounds. So like I say, that's probably 15, maybe 20 pounds of potatoes. That's a good return in investment, and it took me about maybe 20 minutes to harvest them all with that no till, no dig, no nothing method. So I think that's pretty good. Anyway, this here's a handy redneck. I'll talk to y'all later.